The woods by my house went quiet. The sounds of nature are some of the most beautiful things you can experience in life. The sound of nature are some of the most beautiful things you could experience in life. Just being able to stick your head out of a door or window and getting to hear a chorus of Mother Nature's children sing is just amazing. So when I was looking for my first house, that was one of my number one priorities, be near the woods. My job allows me to work from home online, so I didn't have to live so close to the hustle and bustle of the city where my office was. If I was gonna be home all day, I would rather hear the music of nature and not the screeching of semi-trucks and blasting of car horns. I was lucky enough to find a perfect house after just a few days of searching. It was tucked away off a side road heading out of the city limits. Good space between the house and trees, so I didn't have to worry about any falling debris during storms, and the only man-made noise I would ever hear is the sound of the Amazon driver pulling up my driveway. After a few months of After a few months of living there, I started my own after-work routine. Log off for the day, pour myself a drink, grab a book, and sit outside on the back porch. I don't think I ever fully finished a book out there, 'cause I would just get enveloped by the sounds that surrounded me. I guess that's why I was able to notice it all so quickly, why I noticed when the woods got quiet. It was a normal Thursday evening. I had just finished typing up my last email and shut the monitor off. I poured myself a glass of wine and grabbed my book off the kitchen table. I think it was some biography, but I can't really remember. Not like it really mattered, because I didn't even open the book that night. I sat down in my chair and just sat there looking up at the trees. Hello, Pop Kato. Where am I? I lost myself. Something about trees. Hello. How are you guys doing? Also USA. The sun was setting and you could hear the woods start to wake up for the night. The sounds of birds getting into the nest, crickets testing they wings. I'm blue. And we'll get more subscribers. I can't be one of them, because I don't actually stream on YouTube. I use a thing that connects to YouTube instead of actually being able to stream on YouTube. The crickets testing their wings as they prepared for the evening songs. The nocturnal creatures just waking up and greeting each other as they got themselves ready for the day. Just as I picked up my book and the sun went fully down, silence. I'm allowed to. It's my decision to slowly kill myself. I cocked my head a bit as I listened closely. It was dead silent, and who is your favorite singer? Billie Eilish. Actually, that's not true. It's a wannabe. A wannabe is my favorite music artist. I cocked my head a bit as I listened closely. It was dead silent. Not even the wind could fill the vacuum that was left in the air by the lack of noise. I just kind of sat there looking out into the woods, waiting to hear the noises start back up. But it never did. The night stayed silent, so I picked up my book and a drink, and heading back inside. I didn't really know what to think about it, but I assumed it was just a one night thing, and that tomorrow would be normal. It wasn't. Cool. Anyway, in fact, that's how the rest of the nights were, quiet. During the day, business continued like normal in the woods. Birds chirped, squirrels did squirrel things, and bees buzzed. But once the sun went down, it all went silent. After a week or two, I got used to it. Sure, I was upset about my personal nature orchestra shutting down, but what was I gonna do? I would just have to learn how to read in silence. At least that's what I thought. And about 3 weeks after the silence, I finished my work and went outside. I didn't take in nature anymore, just went straight to reading. I guess that's why it took a bit for me to hear the dragging. It was distant but close enough to be known. Just a low dragging sound. If you had ever pulled a box that was too heavy out of a room across a carpet, you could get a guess of what it sounded like. But it wasn't it wasn't constant. It took breaks, very long breaks. For every 10 seconds of dragging, there was 20 minutes of silence. It went on like that for the whole night until the sun rose. Then I would be met with the sounds of birds. The first few nights it was easy to sleep through, but when it started to thud is when I started to get worried. The first time I heard the thud, I was genuinely scared. I had zoned the dragging out and was just interrupted by a loud boom. Thank you for the subscription, Pop Gato. It sounded close. In fact, the dragging sounded closer. If you have ever stood in the woods, you could tell how hard it is to definitely tell which way a sound is coming. So while I assumed the sound was coming from behind my house, it would have very well been in front that it was from. I just sat in my chair and listened to it. Drag, boom, silence. Drag, boom, silence. I'm not sure really what I thought it was. I never heard any of the trees rustle while it went on, so I guess I never thought I was in danger. I wish I could have told myself how naive I was being, but I later realized how much danger I was in when it started to scream. It had been about 2 days after the thuds. Those were definitely harder to zone out than the dragging because they started to become more random. During the silence, I would just be met with thuds until it went quiet again, but then the dragging would start back up. It also started to get so loud I resorted to sitting inside after work. But one night after the sun set and the silence started, there was no dragging or thuds, just a loud scream. I'm not sure what I could even compare it to. Maybe like a child's scream, but it was mixed with an animal's. I caught me so off guard when I heard it that I thought I was imagining it. But no, it was consistent. No random times or timed out spaces. It was always screaming. Even when the dragging and thuds happened, it was still screaming. Sorry, I have a call and I have to accept this call.
We're unable to complete your call.
But he just called. Hello?
Hi.
Hi, I was just reading scary stories to the stream.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. How are you doing?
I'm tired.
You should go to bed.
It's too early.
It's 8. This is your childhood bedtime. Go to bed.
No.
Yes. Hi, Tiny Moments.
Hey, but I wanted to get some, list. Give me a list, because I know you wanted to do mall sushi.
Yeah. Mall sushi karaoke.
Anything else?
Maybe we can make a song.
Alright.
I want to try and make a song. That sounds so fun. I used to make songs, but then I just kind of lost touch.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, also, it won't be on your birthday, but whenever you do come over, my dad's friend Jake left his drum kit, and it's I think 6 pieces plus 5 to 7 cymbals.
You would have to pick me up.
Oh no, I just mean in the future you can play it.
Oh, okay.
So you don't get my dinky 3-piece or whatever. You get that massive kit.
Yeah, we had a danky 3-piece, but it was so pretty. It was black pearl. Come on, I can't believe. I'm so sad.
Yeah.
Stop saying remember me. Yes, I remember you, but I'm on a call right now.
I can let you get back to that if you want.
What? No, stay with me. I can read you scary stories too.
Alright.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat on the couch and listened to it. I called off that day to try and figure out what I was doing. Was I just gonna sit here and be tormented by something in the woods every night? I knew I had to do something, but after I sat back down on the couch, I never got the chance. My eyes had closed, and by the time I opened them, I need to take my meds.
Sorry about that. Susan, sit down. Come on, take your pills. Sit down.
Thank you, Tiny Moments. Tormented by something in the woods every night. I knew I had to do something, but after I sat back down on the couch, I never got the chance. My eyes had closed, and by the time I opened them, the sun was already setting. I didn't even have time to fully wake up when I noticed. I slowly sat up from the couch and looked out my back window and listened. It was silent again, but there was no dragging, thuds, or screams. I got up and went to the back door, looking out the window of it as my hand was on the doorknob. I'm always glad I never actually opened it, because I'm not sure I could be writing this if I did.
Let me see.
There by the tree line behind my house was it. The thing that had been making all the sounds. The thing that made my woods go quiet. I don't really have words for what it was. It looked human, but it wasn't. It had a slightly animal-like features, but it also didn't. It was just a large thing covered in the shadows of the trees. Only reason I could see it was because of its eyes. Deep yellow eyes staring at my house. Staring at my door. Staring at me. I was playing hide and seek in the dark. Awesome. I would love to play hide and seek in the dark.
How long have you been doing this?
I just started it, and then I got a call from you, and I was like, oh, someone's calling me while I'm reading a scary story. Isn't that terrifying? And then I realized it was you, and I was like, oh, cool. It's my safe gay best friend. My gaystie. My Gaiden.
Kind of. I'm starting to lose that title.
Really? Did you
Yeah.
find, like, this girl or thing that you like?
No.
Oh.
I just mean because I don't like my name, so I want to change it.
Oh, so I can't call you Gaiden anymore.
You can. Until I change it, and then you can probably find some other.
What are you planning on changing it to?
I don't know yet.
Just never become a Blake or I will kill you.
Oh hell no, you.
Thank God.
Like no offense to like that name.
Yeah, no offense to that name. No offense to that name. It's just kind of odd for, like, how you look. I will continue reading, don't worry. I'm just, like, going back and forth. Like, I have to take a break sometimes because, you know, I'm weird. Okay, what?
Do you have a like sushi place that you want to go to, or just want me to find one?
I know where there's a sushi place, I just don't remember what it's called. And oh my god, their sushi is fucking amazing and you'll love it. You'll be obsessed with it just as much as I was. I kept ordering. I just couldn't stop ordering. It was so good.
Alright.
Honestly, I would become a pig for that sushi place. I will be all chonky for that sushi place.
That's fair though.
Yes. Okay. I watched as it slowly raised its arm. Its arm had to have been 5 feet long, because it just kept raising and raising. I watched as it brought it down to the ground. Oh, stop groaning, please. Making a loud thud sound. I watched it drag itself forward. Then I watched it open its mouth and scream. That was all I needed to shake me out of whatever trance I was in. I grabbed my keys, ran out the front door, got in my car, and drove so fast out of my driveway I could see the dirt behind me kick up from my wheels. That was the last time I was in that house at night. I asked a friend who lived not far if I could stay with them for a bit while I figured some stuff out with my house. I explained to them almost everything that had happened, minus the eldritch horror I had seen the night before. I went back in the morning and picked up some of my things. I did, like an idiot, look out the back window. The thing wasn't there, but I could see in the grass long indents and deep hand marks. It got real close after I left, and I knew I couldn't risk being here when it did. I've been with my friend for about 2 months since that night. I'm in the middle of selling the old house right now, and I drive past it every now and then when I run into the city for stuff. It breaks my heart a little that my own little forest hideaway was taken from me, but I have to move on, especially now. I was lucky enough that my friend's house is by the woods as well. And while we were sitting out the other night talking about life, I could have sworn I heard the crickets stop singing and the woods go quiet. How do you like that story, Gaiden?
That was really good. Like, I'm surprised only because it's Reddit. I didn't expect something actually well written.
I know, people are really bad at writing lately.
Yeah.
Oh, we love Loki, the god of mischief. So what are you doing?
Need to get back into writing lyrics. I've been kind of in a rut where I write shite.
Oh, are you still writing that song? You know.
Yeah, it just, like, again, I'm in a rut. It's so hard to write, and it's, like, when I really want to be well written. But yeah, I'm still trying.
Oh, what kind of title is this? I went on a hike and now I'm being digested.
Are you about to read 4?
I don't know. It sounds like it.
Fun.
I have to close the door. Give me a second. You ready for some war, baby boy?
What did you say?
I said, you ready for some war, baby boy?
I'm not sure I am.
I'm not sure I would be either. Actually, technically, girls do vor because they put a part of the guy in them.
Well, that's not like consuming.
Well, it's not like in vor they're actually eating. They don't chew, they just kind of swallow you.
Yeah, good point.
So technically, woman vor. Woman just. I'm sorry, Skater.
Why are you limiting that to women?
Oh, men could do it too. I know that for a fact. But it's mainly girls that do it because, like, guys don't usually do it because they're too scared to be gay.
Oh, that actually reminds me. There was this like video essay I watched that's like, it sounds goofy as fuck, but it's actually like really insightful to like how masculinity is this kind of image that people try to uphold and stick to. You know what it's called?
What's it called?
It's called Why Men Fear Penetration.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a funny name.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Ready for war, baby boy?
Not really.
Don't worry, I won't bore you up.
Thank God. have stomach acids right now.
Yeah, I don't think I want to swallow someone right now.
It's a wild sentence.
Your dad has one of what? I'm looking at the comments and all I see right now is my dad has one of those after we were just talking about vor, so I'm so confused. Oh, I think they're talking about the vape.
Oh.
I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, kid, never get these. You get addicted. Okay, time to read the vor story. Just about another mile and a half. That's what the view from the top of the hill I was standing on told me, was the distance between myself and the thinning trail of black smoke that was my goal. Typically, I don't trek this far out from my home, but I had motivation. I live about 17 miles away from any city at the least. Living alone can seem, well, lonely, but I don't mind it. I have nature to surround me and my small one-floor home. I thought I was reading that wrong for some reason. Enjoying walks is easy when there's no sound of humanity surrounding me, pulsing through my eardrums at all times. Again, however, I never go this far out. Approximately 2 hours ago, a massive crash and rumbling enveloped my neck of the woods. Of course, I had to see what it was. Not that I had any ideas, but it had to be some people potentially in trouble. Maybe it was just some kids partying way too hard. That's what I thought until I saw the black smoke creeping from the top of the tree line over 3 miles into the woods behind my property. Now, I'm not a superstitious person. I am very imaginative, though, and if I were to tell you, I didn't think for at least a second that some craft-carrying little green men may be nearby and I could be the first one to make contact, that would be a lie. I didn't believe it, otherwise I would never have gone. I guess I'm one of those idiots in a horror movie you can't help but scream at from the comfort of your lazy boy chair. So there I was approaching whatever it may be, and it's a good thing I left when I did, since very quickly the smoke started to dissipate. I made sure to mark my way through utilize the navigation skills I've acquired just from living in the area. Sure, it was a tad farther than I was used to, but I could easily find my way back to familiarity. There it was, after a couple hours of hiking. Disappointment slightly set in as I noticed there weren't any chunks of any spaceship scattered about. That being said, there also weren't any kids or anyone in trouble. But there was a crater. Less than 100 feet in front of me, I hesitated, then stepped and stepped, breathed and stepped. The smoke was practically gone now. I had to see what was in the crater. A corpse of a small deer laid next to the hole. Poor thing. Its instincts didn't help it this time. Now, not when a strike from the stars themselves coming unexpected. Oh my god, I can't read. Oh, cool, you heard a skinwalker scream? That's cute. Originally, I didn't think much of the deer. Just a sad creature who wasn't fast enough. As I got closer, though, it made the hairs on my arms stand on end. The eyes were white and veiny, rolled back into its skull. Skull, not school. The cheeks were sunken in. Flesh hung loosely from its face, chest, legs, pretty much every aspect. No blood. It's almost as if it had undergone some rapid decomposition or something. I wasn't sure. It was fucked. Oh? It was fucked, to put it bluntly. My motivation remained, so my eyes drifted from the ugly sight to the crater itself. Like I said, there was no wreckage, no alien tech, no little green man. Hesitantly, I peered over the edge of this hole behind my property that was at least a few feet deep. The crater was a circular hole, so I don't think I could be blamed for making those kinds of assumptions. I looked in, nothing. There wasn't anything, just a bundle of rock in the center. That was still cool, I suppose. A meteor had come from outer space and landed in the woods near my home. I had heard of things like this. Usually they land in the ocean or some nowhere land. Stop calling me. Some nowhere land. But here it was in the woods. I guess I'm lucky. I jokingly said to the deer carcass, just feet from me. That's when I saw it. Can you stop calling me? Not you. Gaten, you stay. Gaten! Oh, okay. Movement. The deer's head was moving. Just kind of shaking around a bit, like it was being jostled by some invisible force. I look one step back. I should have ran, dead sprinted to my house, locked my doors, hid in the bathroom, and called for help. I was so naive. I was downright stupid. Start screaming from that chair anytime now. The movement traveled from the head in general to those horrible sunken cheeks. Another step back. Great, I was a whole 3 feet from instead of 2. The flesh peeked out from the mouth. A reddish pink tendril tentacle. I don't know, thing? Slipping out from the corpse. It was small, but then there was another, and another. It grasped the rotted face and pulled itself free. A mass of these fleshy pink things curled like some sort of messed up yarn ball. The last tendril pulled free from the mouth with a slosh of meat. When do you usually sleep?
I can go to bed whenever, but usually like 11:30. Sometimes I stay up till like 3.
Oh my god. Well, what time do you plan on going to sleep?
I don't know. Just kind of whenever.
Oh my god, okay. I'm gonna read you to sleep then. The
Well,
bundle
I'm in my car, so I won't go to sleep.
Oh, what?
Well, I'm in my car, so I won't go to sleep.
Why are you in your car?
So I don't have to worry about Papa just listening in on my conversations.
It's okay, because I'm just reading.
Well, that's not what I was planning for.
Oh, do you want some more?
Some what?
I mean, do you... What were you planning on? You could talk to me.
No, I just meant because, you know when you call somebody and then they talk?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm not talking.
No, that's not what I wasn't trying to make you feel bad, and I was just saying that's what I was like. That was my base level expectation. But either way, it also like I said, I don't like talking in front or near my dad because he's him.
He's weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you like Typo Negative?
Yes.
Oh, thank God, dude. I finally started listening to them. They're like one of my favorite bands of all time now.
Yay. Yay, we have something to bond over.
Yep.
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 This bundle of flesh and wiry tentacles was constantly moving and rolling on itself. Nothing animal or human for me to latch onto didn't prevent me from feeling like it was watching me. The mass, leaving me frozen from terror, began a secretion from the tips of each of its flowing tendrils. A mucus-like substance began to run down each appendage, coating it in God knows what. Does God even know what of this creature? Or was this from the depths of hell? I screamed. I tore my throat as I screamed and began to run away. It wouldn't let me. With whip-like furiosity, a bundle of those fleshy strings lashed out and grasped my ankle, taking me to the dirt. I tried to crawl, to grab the grass and roots in front of me, to pull me any amount of distance away from this thing. Even with its size being less than a foot, when all bundled up, it had strength. Enough to keep me in place as I cried and screamed and begged. But this wasn't human. It wasn't earthly. The universe doesn't care for the calls of some wild animal. That's what I was. To the universe and to this thing latched to me, I was just the deer who wasn't fast enough to get away. I turned my head to see what was happening. With its grip lessening, it pulled itself up my leg. Please, God, please, anyone, please fucking help me. I called to this thing or anything that listened. I couldn't think, just cry. It crawled and sloshed as it did. The thing from another world made its way up to my back, then stopped. For mere moments, I was confused, hopeful. Did it listen to my pleas? No. It was pulling me up my shirt. I couldn't turn my head too far around to get a full picture of what it was up to, but I saw enough. It wrapped several of its appendages together and fashioned some sort of point. The bundle raised and stopped for a second. I breathed one more breath. Then it plunged into my tailbone. The ripping, the pain, but worst of all, the sound. I could hear it worm its way into my skin. The bone crunched a bit. I squealed. I was the meat. I was the flesh, and it couldn't have been happier. What? My vision faded. Even the unconsciousness taking me unconsciousness taking me. The sounds continued, sinew, the tendon, and bone snapping and accommodating its new visitor. The thing was burrowing in me, in my back, going into my spine. No thoughts came. I just moved out of instinct. Once the sounds had stopped, my vision faded in and out. Flashes of trees passing by. It was dark now. Stars spinning around my head. Home. I wanted to go home. Take me there, body. Do this one last thing for me. Blackness. I woke up in a massive cold sweat. Screams filled my bedroom, and I remembered the sounds of invasion. I looked around, blinked few times, then laughed. I laughed harder than I ever had before. A dream? Of course it was a dream. I told you I could be an imaginative person. This is beyond the norm for me, but still, just a dream. I had to piss. I wiped the sweat from my forehead as I looked into the bathroom mirror. What the hell is my problem? I said out loud to no one. I slapped my face in between both my hands. After a splash of cold water, I went to undo my pants when it hit. These. Oh, tense. I became so very tense, I straightened out, not of a will of my own, as though my spine had been attached to some ungodly tight metal rod, in its entirety, my arms outstretched. The tightness prevented any noise from leaving my lips. My mouth and eyes were wide open. I was becoming as solid as a statue. It took every ounce of strength in me to focus all my energy to one arm to lower it towards my shirt. I gripped it and let my arm return to the spot it apparently wanted to sit. Lifting my shirt, I turned. I could still use my legs a bit, or more like my feet. As I had to pivot using them, I turned slowly and tensely, never taking my eyes off the mirror. My back came into view. There at the tailbone was a golf ball-sized wound, a round bit of flesh, an entry point, no entry point, no blood, and the redness of me was turning blacker by the second. It was in my spine. Listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you, nor do I believe you would want me to. The doctor said this to me with a sense of utter calm, but I could tell he may have been even more shaken than I was with the heavy implication I've placed in his mind. My mind, however, was empty. I was in shock. By the time my nervous system was settled from being seized by an unknown entity, leaving my solidified in front of my bathroom mirror, fear was an almost outdated concept. It simply was. The human persistence for survival ingrained in my DNA compelled me to get in my rusty Ford Explorer to take myself to a hospital regardless of this. I think it best we No! You left me!
No, I swear, he disconnected.
Okay. I believe you.
I thought your phone died.
I thought you hung up on me.
Oh,
Oh, my Wi-Fi is shit. I could see that now. I think it best start from the most obvious affliction that you face. His eyes were solemn. Though this man has probably faced more than 2 decades of death, disease, and corruption, I don't believe I could have imagined him looking any sadder than he was in the moment. He had been holding a manila folder at his side, which he hesitantly held up and pulled a sheet from that. He proceeded to hand me. "This is your x-ray." His tone never shifted from flatness. I looked down. Each second that passed felt like an ocean, drowning me and dragging me to fathoms unreachable. Glancing it over was as plain as he made it out to be, like a vine grown out of control. The thing was encasing my spine. It reached so far it looked like it could tickle my brainstem. "We can't remove it. This creature has wrapped itself around each and every one of your vertebrae. Essentially, I can't read that. To remove it, we would have to remove your spine itself. It would kill you." All I could do was lightly nod and hand it back to him. I had nothing to say. I just wanted to listen. Now, the next part may seem less obvious, but it will make itself very apparent very quickly. His tone was more rigid. "Your labs came back. We ran your blood and checked around this entry point in your tailbone. The secretion, as you called, we think we have a bit of an idea what it was. There were trace amounts of the substance around that wound. The results can't be fully understood, but from what we can tell, its basis is salivary amylase. It's spit, the beginning process for digestion in most creatures on our planet. Without realizing it, my eyes had begun to well up. Droplets rained in my hand. I continued to listen. "Your blood is what concerns us the most. You have massive amounts of proteases, to the point that your blood cells are being invaded and broken down. Your tissue is being converted into amino acids." He stopped for a moment before finishing. That broken man's eyes never left me once. I was one with this creature now, and his look reminded me of when I had first seen those tendrils of flesh creeping out from that carcass. "You're being digested from the inside out." "Oh, okay." The words were cold and heavy, pulling me deeper into the trenches of the ocean called time. "And I'm sorry, but security has been called. You won't be leaving. Please just stay calm and stay put." It was unfortunate he didn't have time to finish before I grabbed the steel pan off the counter to my left and slammed it into his face, knocking him cold. I'm sure they called the authorities. I had much less than a minute before security finally came. There was no way I was spending my last moments alive in some lab being dissected and digested. I picked up a chair from across the room and threw it into the exam room window. Thank God the urgent care was on the first floor. As it shattered, I leapt through, lightly cutting my right cheek as I passed. More running, straight to the rusty piece of shit Explorer. What? But it was the most beautiful piece of shit to me. What? Right in this moment. Broken gas gauge, rust covered unbearably and all. Oh, underbelly and all. That drive was going to make me at least half an hour, but I had to get home. If I was going to die, it would be there, away from people. Maybe this time it was actually partially for their sake too. The highway was just off the main road, so it didn't take long to merge and start cruising. My face was kind of itchy from the cut, but there wasn't much pain. I brought my finger up and scratched around the spot. As I brought my finger down to get my hand back to the steering wheel, a chunk of something flung to the windshield and stuck. Ew. This black chunk slowly slid to the dash. I looked in confusion until my eyes raised to the rearview window. My cheek, it was gone. You could see my back teeth. An entire section of the side of my face was gone. I could see the blackness of my rotting gum line that barely held onto my skeletal teeth, showing through the lack of a face. I looked into my own eyes, the top of my nose rigid and my nose ridge had a black crack. My nose started to peel from my face, the weight of the big son of a bitch pulling it down, making it hang by the thread of my septum. My grip on the steering wheel was white hot. I pressed the gas and pressed it. No amount of speed was going to get me home fast enough. After what felt like a full odyssey, the dirt road leading back to my property came into view. I reluctantly slowed down so I didn't spin out of the turn and kill myself even faster. Both my knuckles were white hot until the turn. Suddenly, my left arm was completely loose. It slid off the wheel and went down. I looked at the wheel before checking the status of my arm. A handprint. Black on the backside was... Did you leave me? Oh, okay. My left arm was completely loose, backside and wrapped around the wheel. My skin had just peeled away, leaving the remnants in the grip eternally. It was time to check the arm. Only horror was present there. The flesh of my arm was peeling from the gravity and pouring out of my long sleeve like a disgusting blackened fall off the bone meat. The sound as it poured and splattered, leaving nothing but a skeletal arm and hand, was enough to make me retch. I should consider myself lucky I didn't feel too much pain, but my body was breaking down before my eyes, which each second that passed, I was conscious of it all. I pulled into my driveway for the last time on the walk up to the front door. My left foot sloughed off along with my shoe. But I was determined to keep going, so this is where I am now. I'm home, sitting in my living room, just thankful I still have one good hand to type with this with. This is the last thing I'm able to do. I just wanted someone to know, when I'm done writing this, I have a plan. I'm sitting in my favorite recliner in the middle of the room right now. I'm going to get nice and comfortable. I've already poured the gas on myself, the chair, and the floor around me. The gas gauge never worked in that Explorer. I've run out of gas way too many times, so I always keep a spare gallon of fresh gas in a container in the back. Guess I could use this to save the world. That thought makes me laugh, pretending to be some hero in the end. I'm just a coward. I can't end things myself, I'll need help. So when I put this phone down, I'm going to grab my Zippo lighter that says "Kiss Me" on it, flip it open, and light it. Eventually, my right hand will rot away. Once it does, I go up along with the whole house, and the thing inside me too. I just hope they get to the fire in time before too much of the woods nearby are hurt. I always loved hiking there. Okay, that's that story. That's that disgusting story. I guess it wasn't technically vor because it crawled inside of him.
So reverse floor.
Yeah, it's reverse vor. I don't want to imagine that. That's so bad. I have to take a little break from reading, so we could talk if you want. So, I'm hoping there's a shorter story. Yeah, this is a shorter story.
What?
You should talk to me.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I was confused. I was so confused.
We're taking a little break.
Yeah, would you say like 2 sentences ago though?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember what I said.
That's very
I have memory problems. Did you forget?
Would it be kind of poetic if it did?
What?
It'd be kind of poetic if it did.
If you did forget?
Yeah,
Why would that be poetic?
because I'd be forgetting what you forget.
Oh yeah. I understood nothing. Also, I'm munching on some chocolates.
Nice.
I'm hoping it's still good.
Just praying.
Yeah, if it's not, well, hello, food poisoning. Here I come.
If you're sick on your birthday, I'm gonna be so mad.
I would never be sick on my birthday.
Yeah, well, what if you get food poisoning?
I could never get food poisoning. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I think you will.
You want me to do something at 3 a.m.? I don't think I could do that because I have to wake up at 6 a.m. And I have school. I could do those on Saturdays. I could do that on Saturdays. Oh yeah, guys, my birthday's in like, how many days? 5?
4.
My birthday's in 4 days?
Yeah.
Isn't that the 29th?
No, it's a leap year, so it's only 28 days.
Oh. So my birthday's in 4 days, guys. I'm so sad. My Milky Way is so squished. This makes me so sad. Unsquish yourself, buddy boy. Please. Give me my Milky Way. Oh. No.
I don't think you have to worry about food poisoning with a Milky Way.
My Milky Way got torn apart.
Why'd you torture it?
I didn't mean to torture it. I just wanted to eat it. Well, happy early birthday. I can't believe my Milky Way killed itself.
This guy's still depressed.
Okay, I gotta throw. Oopsies. Where did it fall? Ugh.
Random noise.
I'm a zombie now, guys. I mean, I might as well be. I'm literally all bones.
But that's like,
I'm a skeleton, guys, is what I meant. Okay, let me eat my Twizzler. If you tear my Twizzler apart, I will kill myself. Okay, I have another story up and ready. Are you ready, Gaiden? The crickets know I killed them. I must. Bleh. Apparently, I'm not ready yet.
do you want me to fill the time while you prepare?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
I'm gonna bore your audience to death.
Oh, bet. Let's go.
I get to read my poetry.
Okay, bore my audience.
Dude, you think your Milky Way killed itself? Your audience is about to one-up it.
What?
I'm saying I'm gonna bore them to the death.
Then do it.
I'll try. Let me find something.
Okay. I believe in you. I don't have a scary book. I have a book called The Fractured Memories, though.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Alright. Turn out the lights. Ignite your old life cinema. Develop what's left of a memory. Merciful. My dissonance. But they mark you with your iron's eye. Spraying violet. Film is soon. Awake in a valley of whispers. Vivid blurs of a perfect blue sky.
That's beautiful.
Disgusted, dancing face of an angel I see in steel wax. Mosses seeping through. They need to ignite it, make a pillar of fire. Emerge inside the warmth of compassion. Never return to the endless fissure. Alright, kind of
Which book do you guys want me to read?
I feel like I bore them.
You didn't bore me. I thought I was pretty.
I said them, your audience. Also, thank you.
Which book do you want me to read? You're welcome.
I guess near your little chat.
You.
What do you have?
The Serpent and the Wings of the Night. And then Stephen King, Salem's Lot.
I've heard Salem's Lot is good, but the serpent, because snakes are cool.
Yeah, I love snakes. Snakes are the bomb. Okay. Note. This book contains subject matter that might be different from some for some readers, including violence, torture, off-page, flashbacks of rape, consent withdrawn, self-harm, emotional abuse, slavery, and references to sexual abuse. Then it opens up with a page of a map. I almost broke the book already.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna take this out and use it for this. The king did not know then that his greatest love would also be his ruination, nor that either would come in the form of a tiny, helpless human child. She was a lone flutter of life in an endless expanse of decay, the only living mortal for 100 miles. The child was perhaps 4, perhaps 8. It was hard to tell because she was so small, even by human standards, just a frail little creature with slick black hair and curtained wide gray eyes. Somewhere buried beneath charred beams and crumbled stone, the girl's family likely lay crushed beyond recognition. Or perhaps their ravaged bodies had been left out in the night, taken by predators, just like the ones that stalked the child now, looking down at her with the interest that a hawk afforded a rabbit. The humans, of course, were nothing more than that in this world, prey, pests, or often both. The three-winged men landed before her, smiling at their luck. Immediately, the little girl struggled against the debris that pinned her. She recognized that they were their pointed. What? She recognized what they were, recognized their pointed teeth and black fearless wings, and perhaps she even recognized the uniforms they wore. The deep purple of the Hayaj Nightborn King. Perhaps the men who had burned her home had worn uniforms just like these. But she could not run. Her clothing was torn and hopelessly tangled in the ruins around her. She was too small to shift the stones. "Look at this, a little lamb," the men approached as one of them reached out for her. She snarled at him, catching his fingertips between small, blunt teeth. The soldier hissed and yanked his hand away, while his companions laughed. "A lamb, more like a viper. Or a garden snake," another scoffed. The bitten soldier rubbed his hand, wiping away a few droplets of crimson black. He started for the child. "Doesn't matter," he grumbled. "They taste the same. And I don't know about you, bastards, but I'm hungry after such a long night." But then a shadow fell over them all. The men stilled. They lowered heads in reverent bows. The cool air shivered, the darkness twisting around their faces and wings like a blade caressing a throat. The Hayaj king did not utter a single word. He did not need to. The moment he made his presence known, all of his warriors fell into silence. He was not the physically strongest vampire. He was not the fiercest warrior, nor the wisest sage, but they said he was blessed by the goddess Nyaxia herself. And anyone who had ever met him would swear it to be true. Power seeped from his very pore, and death stained his very breath. His soldiers said nothing as he stepped over the wreckage of the little home. "The Rishon have been eradicated from the area," one of them chanced. "After several long moments, the rest of our men have traveled north and—" The king lifted his hand and the warrior went quiet. He kneeled down before the little girl who glowered at him. So young, he thought her life, a mere handful of years, was nothing compared to his centuries of existence, and yet she drew upon such intense hatred as she glared at him. Her eyes as bright and silver as the moon. "She was found here?" the king asked. "Yes, sir." "Is she the reason for the blood on your hand?" A wave of poorly suppressed snickers from the other soldiers. "Yes, sir," the answer was slightly bashful. They thought he was mocking them. No, this had nothing to do with them. He reached for the girl and she snapped at him. He let her bite, did not move his hand, even as her teeth, tiny as they were, sank deep into his bony index finger. She looked him straight in the eye, unblinking, and he returned that stare with mounting interest. This was not the stare of a panicked child who didn't know what she was doing. This was the stare of a creature who understood she was confronting death itself, and still chose to spit in its face. A little serpent, he murmured. The men behind him laughed. He ignored them. It was not a joke. Are you all alone? He said softly. The girl did not answer. She could not speak, with her teeth clamped around his flesh. If you release me, he said, I will not hurt you. The girl did no such thing, still glaring at him as black blood dribbled down her chin. The corner of the king's lips curled. Good, you should not trust me. He pried his finger free, then carefully extracted the girl from the wreckage as she thrashed. Even in the throes of her violent resistance, she was utterly silent, and it was only once he picked her up, goddess, she was so light. He could have held her with a single hand, that he realized how injured she was, her torn clothing soaked with blood. The sweet scent of a pyramided his nostrils. As he tugged her against his chest, she teetered on the precipice of unconsciousness, but she resisted it, her entire body tense. Rest, little serpent, no harm will come to you. He stroked her cheek, and she tried to bite again, but a spark of magic trailed his fingertips. With that whisper of night came a dreamless sleep, too heavy for even the vicious little thing to fight. What do you want us to do with her? One of the soldiers asked. The king strode past them. Nothing, I will take her. A beat of silence, though he could not see them. The king knew they were exchanging confused glances. Where? One asked at last. Home, the king replied. The child slept, one hand clenched tight around the silk fabric of the king's shirt, fighting still in this small way, even in sleep. Home, he would take her home, because the king of Hyjal vampires, conqueror of the house of night, blessed of the goddess Nyaxia, and one of the most powerful men to have walked this realm or the next, saw a fragment of himself in this child. And there, right beneath the clenched fist of her palm, something warm and bittersweet stirred in his chest at the sight of her, something more dangerous than hunger. Hundreds of years later, historians and scholars would look back upon this moment, this decision that one day would topple an empire. What a strange choice, they would whisper. Why would he do? After all, vampires know better than anyone how important it is to protect their hearts, and love, understand, is sharper than any stake. It started as practice, just a little game, a little exercise, something I needed to prove to myself. I wasn't sure when it had evolved into sport, my shameful secret rebellion. Some might find it stupid for me, a human, to hunt at night, when I was at a considerable to my prey. But the night was when they acted, and so it was when I did too. I pressed to the wall, the dagger clenched tight in my hands. The night was warm, the kind when the sun's heat clung to the steamy humidity of the air long after sunset. The smell hung in a thick, rotten cloud. Rancid food from the trash in the alleys, yes, but also decaying meat and sour blood. The vampires didn't care to clean up after themselves here. In the human districts of the House of Night, humans were supposed to be safe here, within the walls of the kingdom. Citizens, if inferior ones, weaker than the Nightborn in every way. But that second truth too often rendered the first irrelevant. The man was a Hayash, his wings tucked in close to his back. Apparently he wasn't much of a magic user because he didn't spirit them away for easier hunting. Or maybe he just enjoyed the effect that they had on his prey. Some of them were showy like that. They liked to be feared. From the rooftop, I watched the man stalk his target, a little boy, perhaps 10, though small from obvious malnourishment. The boy was in the fenced-in dirt yard of a clay house, bouncing a ball against the dust over and over again, oblivious to death creeping up on him. It was so stupid for this boy to be out at night alone. But then again, I knew better than anyone how growing up in consistent danger could wear upon a person. Maybe this family had kept their children inside after dark every single day of the last 10 years. It only took one lapse. One distracted mother who forgot to call him back. One grumpy child who wasn't ready to come inside for dinner. Just one night in a lifetime. It happened so often, but it wouldn't happen tonight. When the vampire moved, so did I. I dropped from the rooftop down to the cobblestones. I was quiet, but vampire hearing was impeccable. The man turned, greeting me with icy eyes, and a curled lip that revealed a glint of sharp ivory. Did he recognize me? Sometimes they did. I didn't give this one the chance. It was practically routine by now, a system I'd honed to perfection on hundreds of nights just like this one. If it's getting boring, you could leave. I don't care. I have to go anyway. It's bedtime. And if you're bored, you're a boring person.